Hi there, this is Malay and welcome back to my channel. Well, in this video, let's continue exploring the Excel.NET and then using it in the Power Automate desktop. If you've not gone through the previous series of this Excel.NET and using the code in the Power Automate desktop, I would leave the link in the description box. You can go and watch those videos and then can resume from here. Now in this example, we will take a scenario where the organization is holding an event for an employees who have completed 10 years or more with the organization. Now they will start with the United States and then gradually go on with the other cities and other countries. So first we are interested looking at getting the employees who have completed 10 or more years of experience with the organization and they live in the Chicago city. And then company is planning to arrange the event into the other cities and then finally to the other countries. So in this case, what we actually going to be doing is eventually we'll be filtering the location, filtering the country. So first we'll put a filter on the United States. Then after that we will put a filter on the Chicago, and then we will check the date of joining and today. So if there's a difference between today and date of joining, if the years is greater than 10 or more, then we will put that years with the organization. And then we will also mention invite to an event as yes if they qualify for this criteria. So let's get started. First, let me go ahead and clear the filter completely. Let's go and save this. As usual, first we'll be writing the code in the Visual Studio. I already have the code ready from the previous video recording, so let's use it. We are already working with the example one, which I just showed you, and then we're going to be working in further. Now very first is we want to make sure that we clear the filter if there is already a filter applied on the worksheet. So the way we do it is, if we have the worksheet dot auto filter mode, if that's on, then go ahead and disable that. So worksheet dot auto filter mode equals to false. So we want to make sure that if there is a filter applied, we will eventually disable the filter. Alright, now after this we want to work with the entire data. So let's go ahead and define a range. So that's the Excel range. We only have this used range. That is how we get the entire data. Now the way we will put the filter first is, you will use auto filter, specify the field sequence. So let's see the sequence of the field. Country is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and city is 6. So first we'll put 5 and then simply provide the value. This will ensure the column country is filtered with United States. Let's copy this and put one more filter, which is the additional filter on the very next column, which is Chicago. And this way we will be able to put the filter on these two columns. Let's first go ahead, close this file and put a breakpoint here. Let's click on run. And it's reaching to this debug point. Next, now I already have grabbed the code, so let me go ahead and paste it in the interest of time so that we can walk through this code. Now first we're going to be doing is, since we have applied the filter, it's time to get all the visible cells, the visible rows. Now the way we get only the visible rows, which are the filtered rows, is using the range.special cells, specifying the Excel cell type visible. That will give us only the filtered visible rows, because the rows that are not meeting the criteria are actually hidden as per the default behavior. Now once we have the visible cells, go ahead and iterate through the cells. In this visible cells, we're going to be iterating through the rows, and each row itself is a range. So that's what we are iterating. The first row will always be the header. So just put a condition and ignore it and do the continue, because we don't want to do anything with the header. Now when we are working with the dates in an Excel, if you have a date defined, here in this case date of joining is at the 8th position, you get the cells row.row 8. So whatever iterations are happening, we want to get the 8th column date of joining of that specific row, and you convert that to a range and get value 2. Make sure to cast it as a double and store it into the var date of joining, which we already have it in here. And then the way we convert the double to a date time is to use datetime.from08date, where date of joining, and then convert it to the date time object. And then finally we want to write the year difference between today and the date of joining. So we simply use datetime.today.year minus date of joining.year and then simply put the value into the 12th column of that specific row. And then if the difference of these two years is greater than or equal to 10, then we simply put yes into the 13th column, which is invite to be sent, and we save the workbook. In this case, let's go ahead and click run and see it's working all good. Click start. It will execute, and let's just wait for that to come to the workbook.save. It's now executing and it has come, so execution is completed. Continue. Let's go and check the results. Open sample 1, and now you can see that the results are correctly applied, that for all Chicago and United States we have years with the organization, and invite to event also has years with only the meeting criteria. If you unfilter or just clear the filter, you will see that for other cities we don't have it, because as per the filter criteria we are not working with those rows. So it's time to grab that code and test it inside the Power Automate desktop. Now head over to our run scripts Power Automate desktop flow. We already have defined the variable path sample1.xlsx. We already have run.net script, and we had configured the DLL path into the previous video, and we have the code from the previous tutorial. So in this case, let's go and remove the code that we now no longer needs. Let's keep the other code and grab the code from the Visual Studio itself. Let me save this for now, and let's scroll up. Let's use from here to here. That's our code that we changed. Minimize, again edit, maximize this and put your code over here. That should just be fine as per what we already have. Click on save. Now let's click run, and we should get the success message towards the end in the variable if all is good. Let's wait for that to run. Now it's running. Watch for the var success, and we have some issues in the script. Let's see. Named argument specification must appear after all fixed arguments have been specified. Okay, so line number 26. Let's go and take a look at line number 26. What do we have here? Well, in line number 26 we have the auto filter. Well, in this case, as I mentioned, in the Power Automate desktop you simply have to remove the field and you just specify the number. So click on save. Let's make sure that we have a file without any filter, and we are good with it. Let's close this, and now let's click run again. Okay, we forgot to define the variables. That is absolutely right, we forgot that. Let's bring it from the Visual Studio Code. Let's scroll up and get these two variables, and we can put them here. Click on save. Let's hit run, and we should be good now. The script is running, it's doing its job, and now we have the success. Let's go and open the sample 1, and we should see exactly the same result which we saw in the Visual Studio. So we were successfully able to use the filter, then work with the filtered data, use the value of one of the column in that filter, compare it with the date, and then finally update the other rows, other cells based on it. Well, I thank you so much for watching the video.